Hi guys, it's Chrissie and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. So today we're actually building something that's not Realm of Magic related at all. I figured it would, it's high time we build something that isn't Realm of Magic, oriented, I guess. So we're actually going to be building an off-the-grid home today for my Rebuild Sulani project for the save file that I'm working on. And as you guys could probably tell from the thumbnail of this video and from the title, obviously, this isn't your traditional, I guess, little off the grid cabin. I guess it's a very modern home. I did use a lot of woods in this house. I didn't want it to feel like ultra modern and kind of cold or something like that. I wanted it to still feel very warm and inviting and kind of island-like, I suppose. But yeah, it is a modern home and it is completely off the grid, so there's no TVs or computers or like proper lighting in this build at all. And yeah, that was probably the hardest part of building an off-the-grid home. This is the first one that I've ever built since, Island Living came out. And the lighting for this was probably the hardest part to figure out, since the lighting system in the game, if you're not using regular lights, kind of sucks. If you can only use, like with off the grid, you can only use candles. And the most annoying part is that a lot of the candles that you would think would work, or a lot of the lamps and lights and stuff in the game that says like gas lamp or something like that, they don't work. So the off the grid trait is really glitchy still. I mean, they've patched it and they were supposed to have fixed it, but they didn't. And yeah, a lot of the stuff that you would think would work for off the grid just doesn't. So a lot of the things, like some of the lanterns that came from cats and dogs, for example, that actually look like they have candles in them, and a lot of the chandeliers and ceiling lights, like the ones from Jungle Adventure. There's one from Jungle Adventure that I would have loved to have used in this build. It actually has candles in it. If you put it on a normal lot and it lights up, you can actually see that it's a candle, that it's being lit by candles. But yeah, it just doesn't work for off the grid, which really sucks. So I had to use the only ceiling lights and the only wall lights that work for off the grid are from the Vampires game pack. And yeah, it's not really the same style as what I was going for at all. I mean, Vampires pack wasn't the pack that I thought I would have used for this build, but I just had to, since there's no way that I could have lit up the whole build without having one or two ceiling lights and some wall lights. I just couldn't. I tried off camera to do that, and no, it looked horrible. The whole build was like super dark and everything. So yeah, I used some of the Vampires lights, so it does look a little bit out of place, but yeah, it's the best that I could do with, having the off the grid trait, obviously. But yeah, I also added in a lot of windows. This build has a lot of windows. I added a lot of skylights. Added actually a big roof piece, so that's a skylight later on. And then I think I add 3 of those Island Living floor tiles, the square tiles that are supposed to be skylights as well. I add 3 of those. So there's one in the bathroom upstairs. Then there's one over this little area that I'm working on now. Ignore what the roof looks like. I changed that completely. All of the grass disappears up top, and this little overhang completely disappears. That turns into a decking area. So yeah, that area is completely different when I'm done with it. But yeah, there will be a glass roof on that as well. So there's a lot of natural light in this build. So during the day, it's not that bad at all. And during the nighttime, it's actually not too bad either. I used a lot of candles inside, and then, like I said, I did use those ceiling lights. So even though they look a little bit out of place, at least the build isn't super dark or anything. So that's good. But yeah, so this is a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom build. There is 2 functional bathrooms. Off the grid, you can obviously have showers. So not all of the showers work off the grid, but I did use the ones from Island Living that do work off the grid. And then there's 2 bathrooms. There's a tiny one downstairs and then a bigger master bathroom upstairs. There's no tubs, there's no bathtubs or anything on this lot, which was kind of an oversight on my part, since I did make this build fit to have a dog. So I figured the family that live here, since it is for my save file, I will have a family living here. I figured the family that lives here would have a dog, would have a large dog. So I might just go in off camera before I upload it to the gallery and add in one of those like homemade bathtubs from the debug menu outside. I might add one of those just outside, maybe behind the build or something, just so that your Sims can bathe their dogs, even if they can't take a bath. I don't know if they can actually bathe their dogs in that one. Thinking about it, I have no idea if that actually works off the grid. So I think it might. I think there's a bathtub that works off the grid. I think the debug one might work off the grid, but I have no idea. If there isn't one that works off the grid, then I have no idea how you're going to get your dogs clean. Hopefully they will get clean if they swim in the ocean or something. Otherwise, just maybe don't have a dog on this lot. Maybe just have a cat or something and add a litter box somewhere. But yeah, I didn't think of that at all. As you guys can probably tell, this is the first off-the-grid build that I've ever done, so I have no idea what I'm doing. But yeah, so this family will have, when I'm done with them, they will have 2 parents and then 2 girls. They will have a teenage girl and a child girl, and they will actually share the downstairs bedroom. So the upstairs bedroom, the parents' bedroom, is kind of like a loft. It isn't like a fully closed off bedroom at all. It's basically a loft bedroom. And then downstairs there's another room that actually doesn't connect to the house, or at least you can't access it from inside the house. You have to go outside on the little deck area and walk around to the door to the bedroom. And the reason I did that was, you guys will see that it is actually tiled as well. The flooring in there is tiled instead of this wooden flooring that I use for the rest of the house, and that's because I thought that room might have originally been maybe a study or an outdoor seating space, or I don't know, maybe a gym or whatever you wanted to use it as. And I figured that they moved in and they had maybe a toddler and a child or something, and they needed another bedroom, so they just converted that one into a bedroom for the kids. So yeah, that was basically my idea behind that bedroom. And now we've moved on to the kitchen. As you guys can see, I did add in a fridge and a stove. Now off the grid, it's kind of, like I said, glitchy. You can cook food on a stove off the grid and put it in the fridge, and it'll stay good in the fridge, so you can get leftovers and all of that stuff. But you can't do it by clicking on the fridge. You have to click on the stove and select cook off the grid meals. So that's one of the ways that you can cook off the grid. And I also added in a grill outside, so your Sims can grill food and then just put it in the fridge to, keep it for leftovers or something like that. But yeah, so we're just cluttering up the build, and I did end up changing the lighting color. You guys will see right now it's a really, really yellow. But I found out that you can't change the light color if you have the off the grid trait on. So what I actually had to do a few times during this build is actually take that trait off, take the lot trait off, go into live mode, change the lighting color, and then go back into buy mode or build mode and put the trait back on. So that works. It works if you do that, so that way you can change the lighting color. Otherwise it tells you that you can't change light color because the lot doesn't have electricity or something. That's just one of those things that you think would work, but it just doesn't, and it's really weird. So yeah, it's just one of the things that make the off the grid trait a little bit funky to work with. Not to mention the fact that nothing is organized for off the grid. That was so annoying. I've heard people talking about it when I've watched off the grid builds and everything, that it's really irritating trying to build something off the grid and trying to find stuff that would work off the grid. Especially lights, since there's no category that you can filter it by for off the grid lights. So you basically have to go through and look at all of the lights descriptions to see which ones will work off the grid and which ones won't. So that's something that I really, really want them to add in. They were supposed to have changed the way that works, the filtering system works, a few patches ago by now, where if you type into the search box, if you type in off the grid or off, it'll give you a bunch of like off-the-grid plumbing or off-the-grid lights or something like that, and if you click on it, that'll show you some of the off-the-grid items, but that doesn't show you all of them. So it only shows you maybe like 1 or 2 or 3 of the items in that category, whereas there might be like 7, for example, that would work off the grid. So it's really buggy and annoying, so it took me forever to try and figure out stuff that would work here. So that's why I use a bunch of the same lights throughout the whole build, because I eventually just remembered which ones work and which ones don't. So yeah, that's something that's really irritating. As well as with the bathtubs and stuff, there are a few things that you would think, you know, this would work. You know, feasibly it would have worked, and then other things that just don't. So for sinks, for example, some of the cheaper sinks that look like they would work, one of the ones from Laundry Day actually, one of them works, the more expensive one actually works. But the cheaper one that also looks like it could be off the grid just doesn't. The same with the lighting, like I said, where lights look like they would work. They are candles, so you think they would work, but they just don't. You know, weird stuff like that, but I mean, I'm hoping that they'll fix that eventually. But yeah, I've spent like, I don't know, like 10 minutes ranting about what doesn't work in the off-the-grid trait, so that's fun. But yeah, I hope you guys like how this build turned out. Like I said, I had a lot of fun building it. It was, like I said, something that I've never done before, and it was fun just trying to figure it all out and trying to build something that, as you guys know, I don't normally even do modern builds on my channel. I can't speak for some reason. But yeah, I don't normally do modern builds, so trying to do a modern build that also doesn't have any electricity was really fun. I kept finding myself trying to add things like a TV, for example. I was thinking when I did the living room about where I would put the TV, and then I remembered, oh, you know, I can't have TVs in this, it wouldn't work. So instead I just went for those 2 really big bookcases. You know, maybe the Sims like to read that lives here. But I added a lot of outdoor things to do, so I added a swing set, I added a huge bonfire, I added in a bunch of gardening stuff. I figured the Sims that live here would love gardening, and you know, it would be a nice way for them to kind of live off the land a little bit. So I do go in before I take the screenshots and actually put some plants in there as well, some grown plants that your Sims can harvest. And I also add in an easel and a chess table outside on the balcony off of the parents' bedroom. And I think I added, yeah, I didn't add in any like hot tubs or anything. I wanted to, but then I remembered they probably wouldn't work with off the grid. I didn't try it, but I mean, it doesn't seem that realistic to me to have a hot tub when you're living off the grid. When you don't, you know, feasibly have that great plumbing, you probably wouldn't have a hot tub. So I just added on the 3rd floor, on the roof of this build, I added in another little gardening space, but also some seating and some lounge chairs and stuff like that. And the view from up there is absolutely gorgeous. I think I took a screenshot of it at the end of the video that you guys will see, but basically if you pretend that you're like your Sim's height when you're sitting on the lounge chair, you can actually see all the way across all of the trees and everything to the ocean, and it's a gorgeous view. This lot actually has some great views. I love this lot, and I love that this build is actually, if you're standing on the like 2nd floor, it is actually high enough and tall enough so that you can see a little bit of the view. You know, you're not just looking to trees and stuff, so that's really great. But yeah, so this lot does have some lot traits as well. It has obviously the off-the-grid lot trait, but I also gave it the volcanic activity lot trait and the island spirits lot trait. I figured obviously volcanic activity, since it is the lot closest to the volcano, and then the island spirits one just because it's on Muapalam, and I figured that would be the most nature-oriented part of the island, I guess. I don't know, whatever, I just figured it'd be a fun lot trait to add. And then it did turn out to be just under 110,000 simoleons. So considering that it's a modern home and it's 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, it's quite big, it actually wasn't all that expensive. I mean, a lot of the price I think comes from the landscaping, since I did do quite a bit of landscaping that I had to cut out. But I did do quite a bit of landscaping, and as you guys know, landscaping in The Sims is quite expensive. So a lot of the price might come just from the landscaping. And I think, yeah, I don't think I added in any like really expensive furniture or anything. I think not having TVs and computers and stuff or modern appliances in the kitchen actually saved us quite a bit of money. But yeah, so that's basically everything that I wanted to mention to you guys about this build. Now, if you guys, this is just a little shameless self-promo thing, I guess, but I recently started a mini like apartment build series, and I don't know why I want to mention this to you guys, but I love that series. I've loved doing it. I've already done all of the builds for it, and I can't wait to show you guys all of them. Basically, where I'm building I'm going to be building 3 apartments. I'm not going to tell you guys exactly what all of the themes for the apartments are going to be, but they're all going to be spellcaster themed, but for different kinds of spellcasters. And I've already uploaded the first one, which is a light spellcaster's apartment. I will leave a link to that video on the screen for you guys if you want to check it out. I don't know how many of you guys would be interested in it, but I loved building it and I'm having so much fun with that. And I will actually be creating some sims for those apartments as well. So some CC sims, so I will have CC lists and everything like that for the sims once I create them. So if you guys want to, look out for that on the channel, keep your eyes out for those. And yeah, I think that's everything that I wanted to mention about this build. I don't really have anything else to talk about, so I don't know if I just want to leave this right here or not. But yeah, we've moved on to the outside of the build. As you guys can see, I did already do the landscaping and the terrain paint. The terrain paint actually took me quite a while to figure out the way I wanted it to look, so I did cut that out. And you guys will see that I did add a laundry not a laundry basket, a laundry bucket, and a wash tub and a laundry line, a clothesline. So I did go back in and add in a hamper in the upstairs bathroom off camera, so your sims can do laundry. But if you don't want to bother with doing laundry, since I know doing laundry with the wash tub is quite time consuming for your sims, if you don't want to bother with doing laundry, you can just remove those things and not have your sims worry about that. But yeah, this build is almost finished. I think I'm just going to leave it off right here, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the build. If you did, give it a like. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing if you want to see more speed builds and other fun Sims content. And remember to turn on the notification bell as well to be notified of whenever I upload a new video. I hope you guys are all having an absolutely amazing day, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye guys!